I just leave. I go home. I go home to my life, and I take care of my cat and do all the stuff I'm supposed to.
The courtroom is packed. Tension crackles in the air. Then, in a flash, the moment hits. Whoopi Goldberg, once a commanding force in any room, suddenly seems shaken. She's not physically stumbling, but everything else? It's slipping. Her aura, her poise, that unshakable presence, gone. She sits hunched, blinking rapidly, one hand gripping the desk, while the other trembles near her face. The same woman who dominated daytime TV with effortless charm now looks like she's drowning in the spotlight. But this isn't a talk show segment. It's a legal firestorm. And Karoline just lit the fuse. What started as an $800 million lawsuit, once brushed off by Whoopi with a chuckle, has morphed into a full-blown legal juggernaut. A fed-up judge has fast-tracked the case. Evidence is pouring in. Emotions are spiraling, and Whoopi is unraveling in front of millions. And make no mistake, this is no scripted drama. This is raw, real, and happening live. Before we dive into how this all spiraled out of control, go ahead and hit that like button. For real talk. And if you believe celebrity status shouldn't mean immunity, hit subscribe, because we're just getting started. Now, let's rewind to where this firestorm really began.
These women are completely out of touch with reality, and you're right, ABC should wait.
The lights were bright, the cameras were rolling, and Karoline Leavitt stepped onto the set of The View like she'd been there 100 times. Calm, confident, and in full control. But what should have been a standard guest appearance quickly turned into a calculated ambush. From the moment she sat down, the tone shifted. Joy Behar struck first, smirking as she tossed out a backhanded remark about Karoline's age, a dig disguised as humor. The others followed suit. Sunny Hostin chimed in with a pointed jab about white privilege. A familiar line, but this time the delivery felt razor sharp. Then came Whoopi Goldberg. With eyes locked on Karoline, she delivered the final blow. You didn't earn this. You're just here because the right needed a pity project. The audience erupted. The co-hosts looked pleased. And Karoline, she didn't flinch. She didn't snap back. She just listened. Every word, every glance, quietly taken in. Days passed. No viral rant, no fiery Twitter thread, no dramatic podcast episode. Instead, Karoline filed a lawsuit. Not just any lawsuit. An $800 million defamation suit. And just like that, The View stopped laughing. At first, Whoopi brushed it off. "It's a reach," she said. The panel chuckled. But the court didn't find it funny. The case was fast-tracked. Depositions were scheduled. Discovery expanded. And suddenly, things weren't looking so lighthearted anymore. Karoline's legal team came out swinging. They requested everything. Unedited footage, production memos, Slack messages, backstage, emails, and, according to sources close to the case, what they found sent shockwaves through the courtroom. Because this wasn't just a few off-the-cuff remarks. This was coordinated. It was scripted. It was intentional. The courtroom sat in stunned silence. As the first document was presented, producer notes stamped with time codes. One line stood out. "Have Joy needle her on age. Then let Whoopi go hard. It'll trend." Gasps echoed around the room. Another message. "Keep the camera tight when she reacts. That's our viral moment." This wasn't live TV gone off script. This was strategy. A takedown disguised as talk show banter. The judge leaned in, visibly unsettled. And when forensic analysts confirmed the authenticity of the messages, timestamped, digitally signed, the tension in the courtroom became suffocating. Even more damning messages followed. See if she bites on Trump. Plan B. Have Sunny press. The race angle. Let Whoopi lead. The audience trusts her. One internal draft even included a directive in bold. Attack with intellect. Dismiss with humor. Flip the crowd. And through it all, Karoline remained silent, letting the evidence speak louder than any clapback ever could. ABC's lawyers scrambled, flipping through binders, whispering, but they didn't object, not once, not a single denial. Just stunned. Silence. Whoopi Goldberg, once the unshakable centerpiece of the panel, sat frozen, mouth tight, hands locked so hard her knuckles had turned white. She wasn't confused. She wasn't angry. She looked scared. Because this wasn't just a bad headline. It was a legal landslide. And it wasn't stopping. As the second hour of proceedings wore on, the weight in the room grew heavier. Whoopi, known for her sharp comebacks and fiery presence, had fallen completely quiet. Her trademark poise, gone. Shoulders slumped, eyes scanning the room, fingers nervously twisting a tissue she hadn't let go of since it started. The moment was clear. This wasn't just a court case anymore. This was collapse, live, raw, and undeniable.
Want to say it to me, and I don't want to fake apologize. I'm very upset.
The courtroom was silent, not with peace, but with tension. Then, the moment everyone hoped wouldn't come, did Whoopi Goldberg didn't say a word. She didn't flinch, but a single tear slid down her cheek, catching the glare of the overhead lights. She wiped it away quickly, quietly, as if no one saw. Everyone saw. Journalists exchanged glances. One reporter typed furiously into a live blog, "Whoopi Goldberg in tears." Another started drafting a breaking headline, "Goldberg crumbles in court." The judge, sensing the emotional shift in the room, called for a brief recess. 10 minutes. People stood. Attorneys stepped away. Reporters murmured, and viewers watching the feed leaned in. But Whoopi, she stayed put, frozen in her seat, eyes locked on the table. A bailiff approached gently, checking on her. "I didn't know they kept all of it," she whispered. Her voice cracked. Small, worn down. Across the room, Karoline Leavitt remained composed. No smirk, no smug satisfaction, just quiet determination. She watched, expression steady, like someone who had anticipated this moment all along. Like she came prepared. Whoopi's attorney returned with tissues, a bottle of water, and a soft whisper of reassurance. But it didn't matter. The vibrant icon millions once tuned in to see, sharp, confident, untouchable, was gone. When court resumed, she wasn't Whoopi the entertainer anymore. She was a warning, a symbol of what can happen when public power collides with private missteps. And then, for the first time all day, Karoline leaned in and said just 2 words to her lawyer. "Let's continue." Because this wasn't the end, it was the beginning. Behind. The studio smiles, behind the colourful coffee mugs and polished small talk, the view is facing a full-blown meltdown. No more carefully worded statements. No more corporate spin. What's unraveling behind ABC's doors is a crisis of historic scale. Why? Because this trial didn't just put Whoopi Goldberg under the microscope. It pulled back the curtain on the entire operation behind her. Inside ABC's executive towers, panic has gone into overdrive. Senior leaders are jumping on emergency. Zoom calls multiple times a day, sometimes before sunrise. Every meeting is locked behind NDAs, every comment sanitized. But internally, one source summed it up bluntly. "We thought this would blow over. Now it's a full-scale disaster. The legal team is combing through everything. Past episodes, archived emails, internal Slack chats, anything that might shield the company from the fallout. Human Resources has been instructed to audit every politically charged segment from the last 18 months. Meanwhile, sponsors are making quiet exits. A luxury skincare brand? Gone. A long-time auto advertiser? Pressing pause until the dust settles. It's not protest, it's survival. No brand wants their logo sandwiched between scandal and $1 billion lawsuit. Inside The View's production wing, the mood is grim. Staffers are dusting off resumes. Associate producers are quietly grabbing coffee with reps from rival networks. Even interns are nervously asking supervisors if their names might show up in court documents. But the biggest shift? ABC is now scrutinizing Whoopi's contract. Every clause, every word. Not just performance terms. Not just legal protections. But her morality clauses. Her public conduct guidelines. Her ethical responsibilities. In short, they're searching for the exit door. Insiders say the network has already begun sensitive talks about how to begin phasing. Whoopi out. Discreetly, diplomatically, but decisively. All marketing materials featuring her image have been pulled from the pipeline. The once unshakable titan of daytime TV is now at the center of a media and legal firestorm that shows no signs of cooling. And the show, commanding force in any room, suddenly seems shaken. She's not physically stumbling, but everything else? It's slipping. Her aura, her poise, that unshakable presence.
It's not good for anyone, and it's not good for poor folks. It is not good for y'all because you become slave fodder. It's not a good thing. It's not good for women because you are now being told and dictated to, and you can't say anything because they, throw you in a jail or whatever. And people got very, very, very angry and still are angry. I mean, I'm getting, all of the mail from folks and the very real anger because people feel very differently.
She sits hunched, blinking rapidly, one hand gripping the desk while the other trembles near her face. The same woman who dominated daytime TV with effortless charm now looks like she's drowning in the spotlight. But this isn't a talk show segment. It's a legal firestorm. And Karoline just lit the fuse. What started as an $800 million lawsuit, once brushed off by Whoopi with a chuckle, has morphed into a full-blown legal juggernaut. A fed-up judge has fast-tracked the case. Evidence is pouring in. Emotions are spiraling, and Whoopi is unraveling in front of millions. And make no mistake, this is no scripted drama. This is raw, real, and happening live. Before we dive into how this all spiraled out of control, go ahead and hit that like button. For real talk. And if you believe celebrity status shouldn't mean immunity, hit subscribe, because we're just getting started. Now, let's rewind to where this firestorm really began. Clip 3 even reruns of the most controversial episodes are quietly disappearing from syndication. A clear sign the network is bracing for impact. But here's the real turning point. Behind closed doors, ABC is already drafting a formal exit plan for Whoopi Goldberg. According to insiders, the strategy includes a carefully worded on-air goodbye, framed as a health-related hiatus, followed by a gentle reshuffling of the host lineup. Talking points are being prepared for press. PR teams are lining up interviews to manage the message. Everything is being choreographed to soften the blow. No one will say it publicly, not yet, but off the record, staff are blunt. Whoopi's time may be up, and not in months or at the end of a season. Soon. Because as this legal wildfire keeps spreading, ABC executives know what's truly at stake. This isn't just about one personality, it's about the credibility of the entire show, the entire brand. And if they don't move fast, it won't just be Whoopi's reputation on the line. It could be The View itself. While Goldberg buckles under the weight of courtroom revelations, and the network scrambles to stay afloat, Karoline Leavitt is soaring. She's not just a conservative voice making headlines, she's become the defining figure in a media reckoning. A cultural shift is unfolding right in front of us, and she's at the center of it. This isn't just a lawsuit, it's the media moment of the decade. Of it inside the courtroom are everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and X, formerly Twitter, are flooded with videos breaking down her every move. Frame by frame, people are analyzing her calm, collected presence, and it's resonating across the globe. Hashtags like Fairies Expose, the receipts, Faye, Karoline stands tall, Fall media accountability, and receipts not rants are trending worldwide. Not because she yelled, not because she made a dramatic exit, but because she didn't. She walked into court wearing a navy blazer, hair pulled back, and a thick binder of evidence in hand. No frills, no theatrics. She sat through hours of depositions without a single eye roll, without raising her voice, without breaking composure.